In this video, we have one of the rarest Electrolux cylinder vacuum cleaners ever made. And I'm going to tell you why it is so rare, and we're also going to find out if it works. Let's go. So this is the Electrolux Elite electronic 1000 watts model number Z1700. It actually says on the ratings plate Elite Super E, which is pretty cool. So it's the super version with electronic power control shown here. What is quite unusual about this cleaner is it's actually made in France. It's an Electrolux cleaner made in France, which in and of itself is actually quite rare. You don't normally see Lux machines made in France. Usually they are Swedish or British, and then the later ones going into the 90s, from probably 1995 onwards, they were made in the USA. So being a French cleaner is incredibly rare. Now, this particular line of cleaners, the Elite series, were only made for 12 months between mid-1987 and mid-1988. So they had an incredibly short run. Incredibly so. When you think about all the Lux cleaners that are out there in the world, this one was only made for a year, which is really quite shocking. They were very popular though. I remember these being everywhere. Even though they had such a short run, they were very well priced for what they were. I think they were probably around, well, yeah, I think the electronic version was around £90 and the non-electronic version was about £80 or so. And actually, I have a childhood memory of one of these. So this is the white one, or it was white once. This is very badly bleached. You can still see some white here. Ooh, that's a very, very odd sound. I've never had a vacuum cleaner squeal when I've rubbed its bottom before. Odd. Yeah, anyway, yeah, this should have been white, but I'll come back to this discoloration later on. It's something I want to talk to you about. But my childhood memory of this is of actually seeing the red one of these for the first time. The red one was not electronic. It was just on, off and rewind. I don't even think there was a socket for a power head on it. This was just a blank panel. But it was actually bought brand new by my great auntie Mary in 1987. Mary was my grandmother's sister, and she lived in St Ives down in Cornwall. That's where I'm from, actually, Cornwall. And I remember going to visit her with my parents back then. I think it was probably late 87. So I was 9, and we went into Mary's house. It's a terraced house in St Ives. We went in, just went up the steps into the house, and then the room immediately to the left was her front room, and then behind that I think there was like a dining room, and then you went down some stairs into her kitchen. So I remember clear as day walking into the house, and I looked to the left, and there in front of the fireplace was a brand new red Electrolux Elite Super, and it was lying on the floor. It was all set up, it had all the tools out and everything, and I was like, oh my god, look at that, it's a brand new Hoover, it's a brand new Hoover, oh my god. And Auntie Mary saw this and saw my reaction to it, and she knew that I loved vacuum cleaners, and her reaction was not to go, oh yes Stephen, isn't it amazing, I've got a new Hoover. No, Auntie Mary's reaction was, don't you bloody touch that, don't you bloody touch that Hoover, that's brand new, that is, get downstairs. I'm like, oh yes Auntie Mary. And all I wanted to do was look at her brand new Electrolux Elite. But no, I wasn't allowed to. And I think that was probably the first and last time that I ever saw that vacuum cleaner. But yeah, it's a happy-ish memory, I suppose. So I just want to talk about this bleaching of the plastic. So this discoloration that happens with vacuum cleaner plastics. Now there's numerous theories about what happens here. Some people say it's caused by exposure to sunlight. And I think that to a certain degree that may actually be true, although I don't think it is the whole truth. I believe from most of the reading that I've done is that this discoloration happens because there's a chemical reaction going on in the plastic, and it's something to do with the fire retardant. The retardant sort of comes to the surface of the plastic, and it discolors over time. But it's very strange because it doesn't happen. Well, most of the time it doesn't happen in a uniform way. You see the base of the cleaner is still quite white. It's not perfectly white, but it's quite white. The sides are starting to go, and obviously the bag door cover is now yellow. This can be brought back with Retrobrite. You put the you make up the Retrobrite, you put it over the plastic, and you leave it outside in the sun, and it's that bleaching effect of the sun's UV rays that actually bring the plastic back to its original colour. Now this won't ever come back to white. I don't think so anyway. It would take numerous tries to do it, and it's unlikely you'd get a uniform finish to it. I will try next summer, but I don't think it will work. I don't think it'll ever look like it should look again, if you see what I mean. But this theory about sunlight actually causing this, I don't think it's true, and I can prove it. Many years ago, I stored a lot of my vacuum cleaners in a council rented garage in Swindon. And one particular machine that springs to mind that I did that with was Hoover Ranger U4014, the avocado green machine. When that went in to the garage, it was perfect. The colour was absolutely spot on. There was no fading to it whatsoever. Now that cleaner was broken down into pieces. The hood and the body was wrapped in bubble wrap, which was then put into a box. The box was sealed up, put into the garage, and other boxes were put on that machine's box. So it is physically impossible for that cleaner to have been exposed to sunlight for a period of approximately 6 years. Now when I took it out of that box and I looked at it, I realised that the plastic had discoloured. It had gone like an off-green colour. So it's not sunlight. Maybe sunlight does do it, but that is absolute proof that sunlight does not, in that instance, or did not in that instance, fade that Ranger. My theory is that it's continued exposure to extremes of heat and cold. And that garage would get very hot in the summer and very cold in the winter. So 6 times it went through that cycle of very hot and very cold. And I think that is what caused that to happen to the Ranger's plastic. And quite possibly it's happened in this instance as well. However, you'll notice here at this point, there's a slightly lighter patch. So how on earth has this Elite faded like this? It doesn't make any sense. And this whole topic is very odd, and I don't get it, and I don't understand it, and I don't really know how this happens. I mean, look, there's like a flash there. This bit's white, and then it goes into cream. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah. Anyway, let's have a more in-depth look at this particular Elite. I'm quite excited to look at it actually. I've never plugged this one in. It's one of the ones that came from the big vac haul that I got from Richie. I've never tried it. I don't know if it works. The chances are it probably doesn't, because just to finish off the story of these, even though they were reasonably priced, they weren't particularly good quality. And there's one fatal flaw to this cleaner that I've covered off in previous videos. but it just seemed to be on the Elite that this was more of a problem than on other cleaners. And that problem is the fact that the user cannot change the exhaust filter. The exhaust filter is under this grill here, so it's inside the cleaner. You can't take this grill off, you cannot take any part of this panel off. It is stuck there. The only way you can get into it, the only way you can change this exhaust filter or clean it out, is to remove the panel and do it from inside. So it would be very interesting to see when we open this up, because we will be opening this up, to see what kind of a state it is like in there. Now, it just seems really strange that it affects the Elite series more so than other Lux machines. Just off the top of my head, I know that the Slimline series, let's pick a model at random, Z1700, that machine is the same. In fact, I've got one here. Hang on, bear with. Here we go. You will have seen this on the channel previously. So here's a Lux Slimline, model 1165. So I was pretty close to the one that I had. You cannot change the exhaust filters on this either. It is a completely sealed machine. The exhaust filters reside under here, so they're actually under this panel on the top. You can't change them. But for some reason, Slimline does not seem to suffer from such bad motor failure as Elite does. I'm just going to undo the cable a second, because I have a theory about this, and I think it's to do with the pre-motor filter. So let's have a quick look and see what pre-motor filter... Oh, there's a crevice tool in there. Yeah, so Slimline has a pretty decent pre-motor filter there, and it also has a really good seal on the bag. The bag seals really nicely onto this aperture. The motor filter is of a decent quality. It's a decent type of motor filter. So if there's any problems with the bag, if the bag fails or anything like that, the pre-motor filter is going to capture a lot of the dirt and prevent it going into the motor. But on the Elite, I think, I could be wrong here. I love this, by the way. I think this is such a cool idea. This is such an awesome way of actually opening the bag door. You squeeze down on this and then you pull it up like so, and then you're in. And look how white that is. Look, I'm just going to hold this up to the camera so you can see it. So that's the inside, obviously. See how white that is, and then just look at how white that isn't. Just such a massive difference. And there you can see the gradation of fading there on the edge, and same with this side. So yeah, not good. So yes, oh look, we've got a air freshener, which doesn't really smell of anything anymore. Now, yeah, see, this kind of holds up to my theory. The bag does not seal particularly well on the aperture here. It kind of just presses. There's a little membrane on the end of the bag that just lightly presses against this opening. If I hold it like that, you can see the opening. It's just there, look. And yeah, see, this proves my theory. Elite has these awful... Look, you can see through it. Look, I can see you through that filter. These awful sponge filters, and they all had that. Gone to nothing again, as they always do. And that filter is not good at stopping dirt getting through into the motor. So we have a two-pronged problem here. Number one, we have a bag that does not seal particularly well in the bag chamber. And number two, we have a filter that is not particularly effective. So that is, I believe, why these cleaners suffer so much from motor failure. I think what we should do is plug it in and see if it runs. I used to have a funny theory that this was not a standard Electrolux motor in this, but I think that may be wrong. Oh look, that spring's come out. See, these are not great quality vacuum cleaners. Look, the spring has just come out. Can you see it there? If I hold it up, it's actually come out from the... You can just see it hanging down there from the release latch. Oh, I don't even know how to get that off. I don't even know if you can. Oh, perhaps you can. Oh, hang on, I can see it. Yeah, oh, goodness me. This is not good quality, and that's the trouble. Yeah, look, you can just pull the spring out. Look, there you go. There's the spring from it. So that has now come out. I'm going to have to try and do something about that to put it back in, but we will worry about that when we come to it. Let's find out if it works. So let's plug it in. I'm going to make sure it's down on 400 watts. We don't want a full whack going straight through here. So here we go. I'm going to turn the socket on. Okay, well that sounds a million times better than I thought it would. I am really quite surprised. There's a slight ozone smell coming from it, but we will have to take the suppressor off it. What I'm going to do now is bring you down so you can look from this angle, and we'll take the back panel off and see what kind of a state it's like inside. Right, getting into the Elite. Okay, so we should have 4 screws. We've got 2 here on the top. I'm going to undo one a second. They're just normal Phillips screws, so there's nothing special. Slightly tricky to get out. Oh, my goodness me. Yeah, not particularly easy. And then we have 2 underneath, and they're hiding behind the wheels, so they're down here. You need quite a long screwdriver in order to get these out. Slightly difficult to get back into. That's goodness me. Yeah, there it is. I got it. So at least this isn't a massive amount of faffing about to undo. Whilst you're here, actually, oop, sorry, I'm just going to show you the ratings plate. Hopefully you can see that. I'll bring it up a bit closer so you can see it and you can focus on it. So this machine was manufactured in the 22nd week of 1987. So it's quite an early one, actually. As you can see, there's a model Z1700 Elite Super E, made in France. The 2102nd machine made, and a 1000 watt motor. Yeah, very odd that it's French. Very odd. To be honest with you, I didn't know that. I hadn't looked at it properly. I hadn't actually looked at the ratings plate. I had assumed these were manufactured in Luton, just like a lot of other Lux cleaners of the time. Let's oh, hang on. Oh, I'm lying to you. There's 3 screws up here, actually. I really don't know what I'm doing, do I? I just make all this up as I go along. Don't tell anyone. So let's get this panel off. Oh, do you know what? This is surprisingly clean. I am really quite surprised. Look, okay, so there's the exhaust filter there, and it's not too bad. Some of these I've seen these which are just, oh my good lord, they are just they're thick covered with dust, and there's not a massive aperture there, is it, for the air to be blown through. It's really quite small. That's quite, you know, it's a 1000 watt motor in there. That's moving quite a lot of air, and there's not a great deal of space to get for the air to get through. You can see where it's been going through. Look, because there's a square within a square. Sorry, a rectangle within a rectangle. The actual airflow of it is just that bit there. So it's actually really quite small. And interestingly, this top panel has a date mark on it. So this piece of plastic here was manufactured in January of 1986, which is interesting I wonder if these cleaners were sold elsewhere, not just in the UK. That would be worth finding out, wouldn't it? I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's any other date marks. If I hold it up to the light, just have a look. No. No, I can't see any. Just that main one in the middle. It's got 86 on it. Interesting. Okay, so here we are in the main motor section. I think this is one unit. I think this sort of comes out. Let's see where the flex goes. I think this is like, yeah, I think it is. It's like one complete unit that you can take out that's got the motor in it. But I think you need to bring up the rewind first and take off these tags. Take these off, like so. And then the rewind can sit back in there. If we pull these wires up, I think it went like that. It's something like that, anyway. We have to try and work out how that goes now. There we go. There we go. It goes like that. And now I think we should be able to lift this out, because we're going to need to remove the suppressor on this cleaner, because that suppressor is 30 plus years old now. And that's going to go at any minute. So there we go, look, so there's the motor container. It's quite neat, I must say. I quite like this. This is a good idea. And there's the electronics. So we have our speed controller here, like so. And we have our triac and a few other components. And that's pretty much it. There's not a lot to go wrong, really, actually. It's quite simple. It's quite a nice, simple machine. It's going to be a hell of a job to get that lined back up with the slider on the top cover, but yeah, interesting. So we can get rid of our body now. Let's put the body down on the floor like so, and we can just bring you round slightly. So we need to crack into this. Now, where is the suppressor? I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to see. I'm just going to bring the light down. Let's have a quick look inside. It's not something I can show you easily. I think the suppressor is actually on the motor. It's sort of in there. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to. Probably not. But let's undo this. Let's crack this open. I think we go this way. Again, quite nice and simple. Just a few tags, actually. Well, it should be just a few tags. I think it is. Or is there a screw? Hang on a minute. Is there a screw there? Now, bearing in mind it's been a long time since I've done one of these. I can't remember. Let me see. I thought it was just them, actually. I could have sworn it was. Oh yeah, hang on. Is that coming? Oh, come on. One more. Just undo there. And get this off. Come on. Oh. God, that's not easy, actually. Come on, you little devil. There we are. There we go. So that exposes our motors. So there's our fan. Fans are quite good, actually. Not much dirt on them, not much dust stuck to them. It's always a plus. There's a plus sign. Now we need to make sure that we can pull these wires through. So let's undo all this. Oh, look, there's our thermal overload control there. Let's pop that out. Can we pop that out? Will that come out? I don't know. Hang on. Will the thermal overload control come out? Oh, that's awkward. That is really awkward. Just the way it's been put in there is really tricky. Ah, there we go. Got it. Yeah, there's our TOC. So that is what turns the motor off if the machine starts to overheat. So try and keep these wires in some kind of order. Now we should be able to, there we go, pull the motor out. And there we go. So we can pull the motor out there, and that exposes our suppressor. Look at that, beautiful. Yeah, it's in surprisingly good condition, actually. Now this is actually quite simple to do, because this is an electronic machine. So what's going on here is this wire, this one here, which goes up to the switch, like so. is, I believe, not doing anything. So there's no actual current coming through this wire here. This wire is basically redundant. So what we can actually do on this cleaner is cheat massively. This is a huge cheat, and you can only do it on the cleaners that have these triple wire situations. Now, where do my pliers go? If I pull this off, like so, feed it through, identify it, it's that one. It's that one, yep, there we go. And just pull it off the switch. That's it. Our suppressor is now bridged out. The reason for that is because the power is going through this tag, which as you can see is on the suppressor itself, and this tag, which is off to the other side of the suppressor. You'll notice that the wire is broken. Just you see there? The wire is broken. There's a little wire that was running between here and here, but it's been snipped off. So there's no current going through this one at all. It's actually coming on this tag here, and that's the one that connects to the field coil at this point. So that is actually really lovely, easy, simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, done and sorted. So what we need to do is to get this back together. I can't remember if there's a spring for this one. No, actually that's interesting. There's no spring for this. You know, normally how Lux motors have a spring at the top. This one doesn't. This is much cheaper. It actually has a rubber mount to it. So let's get this back together. Let's feed this through. It should be quite easy, he says. Just need to get it lined up. Get the wires out of the way. This is the trouble. The wires get in the way and they want to fight you. We will fight you, say the wires. Now I should slide in. This is the point where it's just trial and error. So there we go, got it. So that is now mounted. It's mounted back in place. So we take our cover, our huge cover, pop this back on, like so. That is all clipped in. Just make sure these are not bent too badly, because we needed to hold the motor, which should now be held in place. Yes, I think it is. It's always good to give them a shake. I can feel the armature moving, but the motor itself is, I think... Yeah, I think that is held, so that's good. And now we can just rebuild everything here on the top. That's interesting. Look there, there's two mouldings here for a separate switch. So our one came out of that moulding there, look. That's where our one was. But there's another moulding here which is exactly the same size. So why is that? It makes me wonder, why are there two switch mouldings? Now I know that the other Elite, the red one, you also used this point for the switch. So you have to wonder why. Why is there another moulding there? Maybe that's for a different machine, a different market, maybe, possibly. Don't know. Let's see what it lines up with. What does it line up with? So it'll be like that, and we know that's our absolute point there for the electronics. Bear with me a second. See, the wires have got all muddled up now. Ugh, I hate it when that happens. So that will sit there. I'm not looking forward to getting this back in, I've got to say. That will sit like that. That will probably go underneath. Come out there. So there we go. Okay. So the electronics will sit like so. You can line up the power button, which is almost there. Yeah, I don't know. That's funny, isn't it? That's weird. Or maybe I'm not over far enough. Perhaps I'm not over far enough. No, I'm not over far enough. Kind of, okay, it's like that. See, I had a theory that maybe the power takeoff was there, but it's not. The power takeoff would have been here, actually. It would have been at this point. No, I honestly don't know. I mean, we can theorise all day as to why why there is another switch moulding there, but it won't get us any further to the truth. Right, pop the TOC back in. This circuit board does not want to sit in this hole. This is a real pain in the bum. Now, come on, sit in. Sit in. I think maybe that one goes there. Got to get these wires in the right place. Put that like that, that like that, that like that. Put that round there, move that round to the back, and pop that over there. So you can see now why Auntie Mary didn't want me fiddling with a brand new Elite, can't you? Because I would have done this to it. And being 9 at the time, there's a very high chance that I would not have been able to get it back together in one piece. So perhaps the old girl was not as daft as I thought she might have been. So that's the motor unit put back together. The wires are in the right place. So now we need the body back. There we go. And we need to get the motor unit inside the body. Let's do that now. I will say, this is quite nice to work on. This is a lot easier than some Lux machines. I never film myself working on like 345s or 330s or anything like that when I need to take the motor out and put them back in, because getting the back plate back on those is an absolute nightmare. Because the motor will fall all over the place, it will flop here and flop there, and then you'll never get it back right, and then you've got to start over again, take it out, put it back in, and it is a nightmare. So that is why I don't film that. But on this Elite, I will say, it is quite nice. It's nice and simple. It's very modular, that's the word. It's very modular. Just going to make sure this seal is back in place, and then we can pop these wires back on to the flex wheel, like so. I think what we might do is run it like this. So let's plug it in. Get these wires in there, like so. Let's make sure the rewind is in place. Is that right? Or was it like that? No, that seems to be right. Is that right? Where does that press? It's always good to see where the pedal presses down. Let's pop that back on. Oop. No, that may not be right. No, that is not right. It's something like that. That could be it. Just get the... I'm going to put it... Yes, that's it. It's right there. It's there. That's it. It's that point. So let's just turn the power down. Ah, see, look, the circuit board's moved again. Ah. Oh my god. Okay, this is a pain. This thing is a pain. Because it just doesn't... It's just kind of sitting there. It's not held in at all. Unless I haven't got it in right. I think I have. But we'll turn it on a minute. Well, I will say that motor is running beautifully. It's so unbelievably clean in here. I am genuinely surprised at how clean this cleaner is inside. It's a clean cleaner. That's what it is. It's a clean cleaner. How warm is that triac? Oh, not very. That's okay. Sometimes they can get really hot, you see, so it's just... if you can check it, it's always good to check it. Now I need to get this back on. This is tricky. Let's try and place it, because you've got to just like... Oh, no. Oh, you see that? It's just like almost there. I can feel it on the... Hang on. Oh, that is horrible. Oh, Electrolux, that's not a nice way to do it. I wonder if I can do it like this. If I move the board, if I plug the board in to the little knobby. Oh, I think that's worked. Oh yeah, I think that's worked actually. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, so that's the way to do it on these. You cheat basically. Yeah, I can feel the resistance of the rheostat there. Brilliant. Great, let's get the screws in quick. Oh, right, I'm going to do this fast forward and then I'll be right back with you. There we go. Good. That is screwed up. Hopefully everything works. Oh, the rewind is rewind's quite stiff actually. I think I might go back into that later and give it some oil just to make it a bit freer. Right, let's pop this back in, pop the bag back in, because we've got a safety mechanism to stop the hood going on, sorry, the back door going on. I really do like it. I just love this. I love the style of it actually. I really do. It's so 80s. It's such an 80s cleaner. Let's just turn it around this way so it doesn't blow air into the camera. And then we'll turn it on and we'll see what the suction's like. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, let's reset you up and we're almost done. Well, there we go. That is the 1987 Electrolux Elite working perfectly. I'm genuinely surprised, actually. I thought that was not going to be an alive vacuum cleaner. I honestly thought that it was going to be an absolute mess inside. I thought the motor was probably going to be burnt out, but it has surprised me. And I've just got to try and work out how to get this spring back on the bag cover release, and I need to try and find a filter for it, a pre-motor filter, one that is infinitely better than the original. Yeah, not good. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please let me know if you have one of these in your collection, if you have any memories of them indeed. I am really glad to have this cleaner. I know I said it previously, but this is a rare vacuum cleaner. It is more rare than its red counterpart, the non-electronic version. This one, I think this is actually only the second electronic Elite I have ever seen in my life. I've only ever seen one other white one. So to have this is really fantastic. I'm over the moon, chuffed to bits, and hopefully next summer I can try and sort out this yellowing. So that's a video we will probably do next summer. I'm sure the channel will still be going by then if you haven't all gotten bored and left me, and I wouldn't blame you if you did, frankly. But until the next video, I will say au revoir. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to do the usual, the commenting, subscribing and liking, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.